Hey everybody, Cynthia from Vansdyke Farms. I'm sorry I haven't been on in a while. I've been very busy. My dad has rentals and I've been dealing with that. And I've been dealing with fixing fences around basically my neighbor's fence because they wouldn't do it. And so I had to fix it to keep my animals on my property. And I have been kind of busy trying to do things like that. But another issue here too is prices have been fairly stagnant throughout the month of August. We had a bump up on the 21st and then the prices dropped on the 28th. And there's another thing to know about the 28th is not only did demand drop but supply dropped. So there's that. But the one thing consistent is the heavier goat prices, and we'll get into that further down. Now then, as I said, prices are fairly stagnant, and I'm going to eat my words on these 40 pounders because the bump up was actually on the 14th for that 40 pound goat. But still, $2, $2.38 and $1.88. This one on the 21st, I'm going to say is probably a grade lower than these other two, and that accounts for part of it, you know, because the 21st overall prices were up a little bit. Now at Easter and Ramadan, these same goats would be a couple bucks higher or close to it. They'd be close to, you know, $3.90 to almost $4, and I think they will be $4 ahead next year. So we only have two examples of the 48 pound goats. I tried to stick with the exact same weight for comparison. Unfortunately, Kelowna has stopped posting grades on their goats, probably because they don't have as many. But when we get into holidays where we have a huge number of goats crossing the scales, they will put the grade up. But for now, it's all NA or not available. So these two 48 pounders, one sold on the 21st, and I did say there was a bump up on that date, 115, and then it dropped down 250 a head on the 28th. And the 28th prices dropped overall. But that's only 6 cents a pound, and it made a difference of $2.50 a head. So we get down here to the 50 pound goats, and I have one for each week, 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th. That's every sale date in the month of August, and they all weigh the same, of course. The first 2 weeks they were exactly the same price per head, so it's $2.40 a pound. And then we dropped up, or bumped up, $5 a head on the 21st. And then on the 28th, I would say it's not only a price drop per head, you know, for the same grade, but I would say that this particular animal is also a grade or two lower than the other three goats that sold previously. Okay, so now we get to 60 pounders. We only have 3 weeks to compare, but they're only a penny a pound difference between the 7th and the 14th. And then they drop way down to $2 or 17 and 18 cents a pound less on the 28th. And I don't think that's a grade drop, people. I think that is a price drop right there. I think, you know, the demand's just not there for that week. We get down here and we're starting to get a little heavier goats, 70 pounds, $2.43 a pound, 170, 175 on the 19th. I'm going to say that on the 21st, since prices overall were up, this is a grade drop right here at $2.25 or 25 cents a pound less than this goat up here. And then this one's definitely a grade drop and a price drop overall on this one. He's $1.25 a pound, or $1 a pound cheaper than the goat on the 21st. So that's a huge drop. That's almost half. You know, that's a lot of money. Now we get to the 80 pounders, and you're going to see what's interesting. It's fall, and the heavier goats in the fall tend to do better price-wise than they do in the spring. In the spring, it's the opposite. It's the younger, lighter goats that do much better per pound. But in the fall, and especially with wethers, if you have wethers, 80 pounds and on up to 120, you're going to do pretty good. Especially if you just had them out on browse, you know, and out on pasture, you're going to do okay. So, an 80 pounder on the 7th was 210, and it dropped a little bit down to 200. And so that's 13 cents a pound less, you know, and so it's $10 a head less here. Then it went back up on the 21st, which has been the trend throughout the month. 21st, you kind of get a bump up. So it's actually 19 cents a pound higher than this goat. And it's only 6 cents a pound higher than this goat. But, you know, it's $15 a head more than this one and only $5 more than this one. And then it dropped down to $195 a head on the 28th. I'm going to say it's all the same grade, even though this price difference seems like it's really huge. It's only $5 off from this one. You know, it's $20 off of this one. Now we get down here, and here's the 88 pounders. I only have two. On the 14th, they're $2.25 or $2.56 a pound. So this is by the head. On the 28th, they dropped down to $2.20. So that's a 6 cents a pound difference, which isn't bad. So the price drop isn't huge here. Same thing with the 90 pounders. It's only 3 cents a pound over here difference in the weight and you know, per pound, price per pound, and $227.50. So that's only $2.50 a head difference between this and this. Which, you know, if you got 10 head, that's 25 bucks. 100 head, it's 250 bucks. So, you know, it goes a long way paying bills at home. Now, it gets even more interesting as we get down here to these 100 and 120 pounders. The 120 pounder, or the 100 pounder on the 7th was $2.50 a pound. And it dropped down to $2.40 or 10 cents a pound difference on the 28th. This is the first week of the month. This is the last $2.40. $240 and $250. Now we get down to 120 pounds. They're exactly the same price from the first week of the month to the last week of the month. $360. $3 a pound, people, for a 120 pound goat. $360. And even the 220 pound wether, which is really heavy, so you know it's an older wether, he still brought $218 a pound, or $480. And for those of you who want to go out and buy these bred does for 200 bucks to kid out, these good commercial does that you're still going to have after they kid, you guys are insulting to the producers. Pay what the does are worth, okay? Pay the people what the does are worth. In my estimation, a good commercial doe is worth at least 400 bucks. Bar none, especially if she is already bred to kid out in just a few months, okay? That's what they're worth, because they're going to be dropping down some really nice babies for you. In the spring, you're going to reap the rewards. Now then, this next piece right here, and I think this is important too. If you look at this, I'm going to enlarge it so you can see it a little bit better. This shows you how many sold or crossed the scales at Kelowna on the date. So on the 7th, we had 689. They dropped down to 558. And then on the 21st, when we had a bump up in prices, we also had a bump up in supply. Demand dropped and supply dropped on the 28th. So going into next week, I would say your lighter goats, don't sell them. Fatten them up a little bit. If you've got your heavier, you know, 80 to 120 pound, especially wethers, you're going to do very well. So that is the report for this week. It is August 30th, 2019. Hopefully you'll enjoy this. Some other videos I'm planning to do are about the coming up years of, well, the next 5 years in the goat industry are very exciting. Let me put it that way. Especially for you commercial breeders. If you are raising commercial for Easter Ramadan, increase your doe herd numbers if you can, because it's going to be a very exciting time to be raising goats. Prices are going to go up because of the collision of the two holidays on the calendar. And I will explain that in another video. Anyway, this is it for this week. Please like, my video and please subscribe. I will get back on track getting more videos posted as we go along, and I will also be adding some more information as well. Thank you and good night.